Hey there, Python pioneers. The first thing we need to do before we actually start coding in Python is install Python. So, whether you're on Windows, Mac, or Linux, there's a version for you. We're going to jump on over now to python.org and I'll walk you through those steps. Alright, so we are at python.org and there are quite a few things. The one thing we really need to click on right now is downloads. So in the downloads menu item, there actually is a button to just download, and that will probably change for your operating system. I'm on Windows, so I can't test that, but I imagine this probably will just give you the right version right away. But let's use a different way. I want to show you this and it can be helpful down the road. So if you click on all releases and scroll down just a little bit, we will see all the different versions of Python that are available. So if you, for some reason, need to download an older version of Python, this is where you would go to find that version. So in our case, we're actually going to download 3.12.1. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And the reason why I wanted to show you this is because, for one, now you know where to download the older versions of Python if you ever need them, but also you can see some of the notes that the developers of Python have put out there for this version, letting you know what has changed. So for you, a lot of this stuff, you're going to read this and you might look at this and say, I don't even know what a buffer protocol is, for example. That is totally fine. But as you get further along, you might be interested to know what was fixed or new features that were added. Also, something that you will come across is, some of your code that you've written might have become deprecated. And deprecation just means that they have moved on to a newer way of writing that code. So you have to update your code. So for example, WSTR and WSTR underscore length are deprecated. They were just removed, which means you can't use them anymore. You don't need to know what those things are. You just need to know that in this case, in this version of Python, they went ahead and removed those things. Sometimes when they deprecate things, they will add new versions, and sometimes they just remove old modules. So just something to note. But if you scroll down at the bottom of this page, you'll see all the different versions for the different operating systems. I'm on Windows, like I said, so I would actually download the Windows Installer 64-bit. But I'm going to go ahead and minimize this window because I have some instructions here just to help in case you're on a different version. So let me scroll back down over here. So on Windows, if you search in your magnifying glass down here or click on the Windows icon and start typing and search for system information, if you open it, there's an option that's called system type. It's just a label that says system type when you open that app. And it should tell you the system type for your operating system. If it says x64, then you need to download the 64-bit installer. Make sure you don't click on the embeddable package. That's actually so that you can embed Python in other programs. So don't click on embeddable. We just want the standard Windows installer 64-bit. If your system type is x86, go ahead and click on the 32-bit installer and run that one. And if yours says ARM-based, then go ahead and download the ARM64 Windows installer. For Mac OS, you're going to download the Mac 64-bit Universal installer and double click to run that. It should be a package file, so that should be pretty straightforward. And for Linux, you're going to download the gzipped tarball, and I've provided the commands here for you. So I've tested these and made sure this is straight from the Python documentation, how to install Linux, or how to install Python in Linux. So sometimes you don't want to run make install as sudo. In this case, that is what Python recommends. And after you finish, just make sure you check Python 3 space tech version, and you should see that your Python version is 3.12.1. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go through the 64-bit Windows installer now. You can see there's a 1 because I've already done this. But I did uninstall so we can go through this together. So you can choose a custom installation where you choose your location and features. I'm going to go with just a standard install. Now there are some options down here at the bottom that we want to check out. So I can use admin privileges when installing. And if I do this, I can install it for my system. In my case, I don't need to do that. I only need Python and my user profile. And you can see actually the path that it's installing in is cusers, my username for my machine, and in the app data folder. So Python will be available to me only. And that's just nice because all the Python modules and code, when it runs, it only runs as me. It doesn't run as the system. Now down here, we do want to click on add python.exe to path. That's really important, and that just what that does is you can access Python directly from your terminal or from your command prompt, and other machines will be able to know where it is. Otherwise, you would have to or not other machines, I'm sorry, other programs will know where Python is because it's on your path. So don't worry too much about what it means, but go ahead and click to add Python to your path if you have that option, and click on install now. Also, you could see that it includes idle, pip, and documentation, create shortcuts and file associations. That's good. So idle is the integrated development environment that comes with Python. It's not very robust, so we're actually in the next video going to be installing Mu. It's a little bit more beginner friendly, but idle, just know that if you install in this way, you can actually, as soon as you install Python, start writing Python code in the idle editor. So if you ever search on your computer for idle Python, that's what that is. It's just a place to write code for Python. And pip is the package installer for Python. So other people write code, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel for everything, actually. So that's pretty nice, and actually a lot of programmers lean on that. So they'll write packages that take care of a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and you just import their code and use it. But in order to download their code so that you can use it, you have to use a package manager like pip. So that just comes with that, just explaining what those things are. So I'm going to go ahead and click install now. And we'll let that run. Almost there. Okay, and just like that, Python is installed. So there are some interesting things here that you can take a look at. They have an online tutorial and they have their documentation, which we will cover in another video. So it says at your terminal type pi to launch Python. Okay. And you can search for Python in your start menu. We could try that. Python. Okay, well I had an older version of Python, so you can see that older version that I already uninstalled actually. But don't worry about that, you won't see that. Python 3.12 is what we just installed, and this is the idle editor we were talking about. So if you for some reason wanted to launch Python directly, you could launch it through here, but we won't need to do that. So I'm not even going to open idle, but feel free to open it if you want to. But we're going to go ahead and in the next video, we're going to install Mu. So just wanted to show you that. Okay, so at this point, you should have Python 3.12.1 installed, and pretty painless, I would say. So if you have any issues, leave a comment below and let me know. But otherwise, that should get you there, and we'll keep moving. And before you know it, we'll be writing code. Thank you.